Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube back with another video for you guys and gals. No, this is not a Dark Shadows video. I'm here to discuss. Um, there was a video made by a friend and fellow YouTuber Darnell Weeks, Myers25, about the, you know, could there be a Halloween TV series on Peacock going off the Halloween trilogy? Um, Now there could be. We don't know if there will be. I want to stress that. And let me say this. Number one, if you're going to do this, if they are really going to do this, then to me, they can't have Michael Myers. And in many ways, it would sort of be a great way to do your anthology trilogy, your anthology series you've always wanted to do, right? Because they've at least, at the end of Halloween Ends, set that up by having Laurie Strode. Well, evil just takes a new shape. Now, would I just center this around the character of Allison? No. She would not just be the primary focus. She would be a focus because in reality, that's sort of what they've done with the character and all this in the trilogy anyway. No, I would actually introduce a brand new character who's investigating these strange events. For example, now you could have Allison hear about the events and she's sort of curious about them. That would be a way to get her involved because you could have the events sort of happen around Halloween. Okay, the following year, so a full year after the death of Michael Myers, right? On October 30th, the night of October 30th, some cows are found dead in a farmer's field, and there's no explanation to them. Now, whatever route you want to go there, whether it's a killer, whether it's a group of killers, or it's just people messing around on someone's land, but it's not just, or you could go the route, it's not just happening on one farmer's field, it's happening in many. So I would choose a large state to set this in. So here's Allison reading about this. And really, who we're really following isn't just Allison, but it's the person who's reporting it. You see Allison reading about it in a newspaper. And the person who's reporting on it, that's the person who's one of the main characters. He's a reporter. So he finds the events very strange. In many ways, you're sort of placating to sort of like a Carl Kolchak type of character, though he doesn't necessarily believe in the supernatural. And keep in mind, Carl Kolchak himself wasn't always chasing the supernatural. That's something that ended up happening to him. Um, so here's this reporter. He's reporting on these events. He's going to the locations on the morning of October 31st, and he interviews all the farmers. Now, on one specific farm, it wasn't just the cows. The One of the farming equipment malfunctioned and killed one of his kids. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Um, and what you would have, lo and behold, is a you could have many things. Either A, you could just have a group of killers. B, you could have people who are just honestly trying to steal the land. So they're trying to make it look like, a cult is doing this, but it's not really a cult. It's just a group of people who want the land, who want the farmer's land. And so Allison's looking into this too. She reads the paper and decides to go visit. And that's where she meets this reporter, this newspaper journalist. And she goes, "Don't you find this quite strange and sort of evil?" He goes, "Yes, I do. You seem to know some stuff about evil." She goes, "I've had my own experiences." And again, that's something you could play with. You could have different events happen with Allison on Halloween, or around Halloween at least. every year. So every year, Allison keeps getting into something that's new. For example, you you could have if you. I would set it again. I would set it in a large state. California would be perfect. There's a lot of weird shit that happens out there. Um, Look at the California fires. You could sort of use that as a backdrop too, and say the fires are caused by an arsonist. Again, there's nothing wrong with taking something from real life and using it. How Alfred Hitchcock did it a lot of times. Um, Another thing you could play with is you could sort of have your own. In a lot of ways, you could have your own incident on water where there seems to be these strange boating accidents, and Allison knew somebody that died. Again, there's a lot of things you could play with. Because for me, if you're gonna go off the Halloween trilogy that David Gordon Green did, I'd more sooner I'd more see them do the anthology route than go the Michael Myers route on that end. Because it would make no sense to use Michael Myers when you've killed him off. And it would make no sense to use a Myers type character when that character's dead. And really, they killed off Corey Cunningham too. So it just wouldn't make much sense to use that ideology. I more think if you're going to go again, if they actually go this route, I'm not saying they are or will. Um, I'd more go the anthology route and have just different events happen on Halloween, and you could have Allison sort of looking into them with other people. Again, I wouldn't just make Allison my primary focus. This reporter would be, so he's at the center of a lot of these events that keep happening, and him and Allison keep teaming up. I would have two protagonists instead of just one, because I think that's the one. Halloween 3 had the best one-two protagonist because you had a doctor who initially wasn't going for the right reasons. He was going to get laid, and he did. He did. He's related to Quentin. Dr. Chalice. Dr. Chalice is related to Quentin Collins somehow. God, I kid. But it, I sort of wonder if they ever considered David Selby for that role at all. Just just asking, just throwing that out there. Not that. Oh my God, it just what a character. I mean, it's a lot of in every way. It's a Quentin Collins. Everything he does is a Quentin Collins type of move. Dr. Daniel Childs. Now for this, would I have? Would somebody be like a less reluctant character? Would the reporter be less reluctant? Would Allison? I would say with Allison, she doesn't always go headlong into these events. Sometimes she just stays out of them because she feels that, why should I be getting myself involved? But something keeps pulling her to these events. And again, you could get into the whole fate thing too. It's sort of her fate to be a part of this. Again, that's another aspect you could play with doing different things on Halloween. Uh, could you have another killer? Eventually you could go that route. Eventually, after a while, you could do the whole serial killer thing all over again. I now here's the thing: I would not. My big issue with having another serial killer is if you're gonna honestly have another serial killer, don't use the same type of mask and costume like we use. There's plenty of other ideas you can play with to have a different type of mask and outfit because again you don't want and you don't have to make the killer like Michael either if you're going to do eventually go that route. um, Maybe the killer is honestly killing just for fun and is living a normal everyday life, and so they're lying about the murders and stuff, and they're a killer who's living a wolf who's sort of living amongst the sheep, if you will, aspect would be very interesting. I think that's something they were playing with a bit with Corey, but they don't go all the way with it. They, like, he kills himself. He pretty much kills himself before Michael kills him in a way. Which again, that's sort of the weirdest part about ends. It's like, okay, because here's the thing: they have him lie to Allison's face, and again, I like the fact you have a killer lie about it. That's again, it makes them all the more sinister for doing so. But at the end of the day, they don't sort of take the character anywhere when they kill him off. They just, oh, he stabs himself, Michael stabs his neck. So really, you got to give Corey an assist in his own death, um, which is weird. Again, if you're going to do a killer, if you're eventually going to do a killer in an anthology series, make the killer just a normal everyday person, and they're killing for the hell of it every Halloween. They keep killing. I mean, you could make the killer a doctor. Maybe that's where Allison's at the center of it again, and it ends up being somebody who works at a hospital. And so that's how they're not catching them, because between work and their schedule, they could just say, "Oh, I was at a meeting," and maybe they go to one meeting, so the one alibi checks out, so they never check out another alibi. Again, there's a lot you could play with when you do a Halloween series, but again, for David Gordon Green's trilogy, I would just go the anthology route. I really would. I would not. Again, you could eventually do another serial killer, but do other events first. There's a lot of other things you could use out there. You could get into missing people. That there, some people went missing the day before Halloween, and maybe this journalist goes looking for those people, and Allison tags along. Again, there's other event. Do you want Allison involved in every event? No, or at least she does. Well, when I say no, I mean she tries not to directly get involved with them, but something keeps pulling her to each event, and that's something they could play with. Again, you could get into the whole fate thing all over again. Um, that would just be, again, that would be my suggestion if you're going to do a Halloween series going off David Gordon Green trilogy. I would not go the serial killer route. I would more go the anthology route, simply because it would make more sense to do so. In my opinion, again, you could disagree, because I can't see them going with David Gordon Green's. If they were to do a series of David Gordon Green's, I can't see them going back to Michael Myers when they just killed off that character. It would just make absolutely no sense. Um, and I mean, to sort of do that would really, again, it would make the story even make less sense. So I think it would be more better to go off the anthology route following David Gordon Green's trilogy. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Um, Let me know what you guys think. If they do a Halloween series going off David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy, would you rather they go the anthology route? Let me know what you think. Have a great day, everybody. Link to Darnell Week's channel will be in the description box. You guys have a great day.